This is the 2-foot Italian plumber that we've all seen at least once. And this is the badger that inhales unhealthy amounts of crack to imitate the Flash. We all love both icons for what they are and how much they've improved our childhoods. I mean, I can't imagine a life where I'd be happy without playing a good old Super Mario or Sonic the Hedgehog game. That being said, most people have played both kinds of games, and it begs the question, which one's better? Let's break down and analyze both games to see which one takes the crown. Design. Okay, now I don't know what exactly was going on in the minds of the game developers when they decided to make one game that had an Italian plumber going around in pipes and another game that had a comically round hedgehog that had to fight another comically round dude. Nice choice of names though. So, Mario and Sonic are revered because of their long-running history and how almost every kid gamer back in the 90s had played these games. The world design for Mario was focused more on realms and traversing different areas through these weirdly tall green pipes. Mario first came out as a side-scroller, meaning that there were 4 directions you could go to explore. The whole game's a blend of vibrant colors that are backed by the iconic Mario soundtracks. There were also secret levels that you could access by doing some wonky movements that led to an entirely different part of the map. You had to traverse through each level, and at the end of a level, there was a flag that you had to raise and then a castle that you had to go into. One moment you're happily cruising through a grassland, and the next, you enter the messed up world of Dungeons and Dragons, dodging lava and God knows what other kinds of atrocities. Okay, that was clearly a fan-made level, but you get the point. Later Mario games like Mario Party and Mario Kart were much more well-received. Mario Kart 8 even topped the list of purchases for the Wii U in 2017. Sonic's world was also full of different biomes and realms, but we barely had enough time to appreciate the design because the game was moving way too fast to comprehend anything. There were more animations in the environment, even in the earlier games. Fast forward a couple of decades and we got games like Sonic Riders, Zero Gravity, and Sonic Frontiers. Both series took complete advantage of the Unreal Engine and turned these 2D characters into something out of a Christopher Nolan movie. Overall though, the world building in Mario, in my opinion, takes the crown for this category because of the diversity in designs and the ability to actually see where you are. Combat. Now we come to the fun part. What makes these games super fun to play is the unique combat system that was the defining feature in the old games. It was a simple concept: jump on the enemy to kill them. Mario took this literally with almost every enemy, even the spiky-shelled Bowser, vulnerable to being stepped on. Before the newer games came along, all you could do in Super Mario Bros. Was jump on enemies to kill them, apart from these sliding green shells. As newer games came out, Mario found new weapons and new mushrooms that gave him insane powers, like being able to spit fire and turn into a beaver badger type creature who could use its tail to levitate? Anyways, the list goes on. Sonic, however, had only 2 ways that he could eliminate his enemies. It was either he used his Rolling Thunder signature ability to transform into an invincible ball and steamroll everything, or just simply jump on their heads like our Italian plumber. I gotta say, the combat system was pretty underwhelming, but it still had many plus sides, like how you could throw literal fireballs to incinerate everything, obese turtles included. In Mario, you could either be tall or short, depending on whether you had a red mushroom or not. If you're short, then that means you'll die in one hit. If you're tall, you can get hit once and turn into Short Mario. That's how the health system worked previously. Now they've introduced health bars into recent Mario games. Now you don't have to worry about dying to a random green turtle flying at you from seemingly nowhere. Sonic had these little gold coins that you accumulated over the course of the level. If you got hit, you'd lose a portion of those coins and would have a small time window to pick them up again. If you get hit while you have no coins in stock, you die. That basically wraps up the combat system in both games. But we can't forget about the category that made one of these series top Nintendo's best-selling charts in 2017: racing game spin-offs. By now, everyone's heard of Mario Kart 8. It's become the game that the next generation will be playing, and that'll be the new classic for them. This game took the Wii universe by storm because of how well the previous Mario Kart games were and how well this one was made. There were so many tracks, maps, cars, and circuits to choose from. The cars were fully customizable and had in-depth specifications for each parameter. What made it better was that it was all multiplayer as well. There are so many videos on YouTube that show many huge streamers and content creators playing this game and goofing around with their friends. If we look at Sonic's history of racing games, there aren't many titles that instantly pop into your head. I guess one of the noteworthy games was Sonic Riders, Zero Gravity. Basically, Sonic, or whatever character you played, was riding around racing on a hoverboard. It didn't have as many maps as Mario Kart and wasn't as customizable, but it was still pretty fun and counts as a PS2 classic. Story and characters. We've gone into the itty-bitty details of the games, but we should also cover what the story is behind this tiny rogue plumber and angry chihuahua. So, Mario and Luigi are Italian brothers, and they live in a kingdom called the Mushroom Kingdom. Every story has a villain, and in their story, it was this oversized, obese turtle called Bowser. Every kingdom has a princess, and the princess of Mushroom Kingdom was called Princess Peach, who was, surprisingly, the only normal-looking character in the entire series. Bowser kidnaps Peach and locks her away in a castle for God knows what reasons. So, Mario and Luigi must go and save her from Bowser and his evil minions, while also saving another princess, Toad. Yep, there's a lot to process, but that's what sums up the story of Mario. Sonic's story is a much more understandable one, even though it may sound like complete baloney. So there's this mad scientist called Ivo Robotnik, or as we so lovingly like to call him, Dr. Eggman, who experiments on random animals to try to turn them into his minions and help him with his plan to take over the world. Sonic's been blessed with superhuman speed and must collude with his friends, Knuckles, Tails, and Amy, to bring an end to his evil schemes. That was the original story. Now in every game of Sonic, there's a new villain that must be stopped. Along the way, a new character was introduced who was called Shadow, and he was basically the evil version of Sonic created by Dr. Eggman. Sure, he was trying to cure his daughter, but well, things didn't exactly turn out as planned, obviously. In short, Sonic's story has a deeper background to it, and the villains aren't just mindless creatures who want one thing in general, but have a reason for doing what they do. So, in the story category, Sonic takes the win. DLCs. A game is made much better when there's more to do even after the main storyline's finished. This could be a new level, a continuation of the story, or even skins. Mario Kart 8 is still getting new and improved tracks, cars, characters, and circuits being added every now and then in the form of updates. There's even been crossover DLCs that introduce characters from other Nintendo games like Link from Legend of Zelda. In a way, seeing Link ride around in a comically small-sized cart throwing turtle shells at other racers is just hilarious. Sonic games weren't huge on the DLCs because there wasn't that much to add to the game. However, the recent Sonic Frontiers game has had many DLCs drop for it that included new levels and tons of new skins for Sonic. Skins in themselves give the game a completely different vibe. One moment, you're regular old Sonic. The next, you're a creepypasta version of him or a version of him that's covered head to toe in armor. However, that just about covers everything for Sonic's DLCs. Mario Kart 8 is still as popular as ever because people still play it, and at one point, the whole point of getting a Wii U was to be able to play this specific game on it. So in the DLCs category, Mario definitely takes the cake. Difficulty. Finally, we're looking at how tough these games are in terms of playability. Mario games are super easy to play. Like, I know there was this one clip earlier that looked like it came straight from the bowels of hell, but practically a 5-year-old could easily beat the whole game in one sitting. I know because I've done it. All you have to do is jump, dodge, go in pipes, and just keep going right. Seems pretty simple, yeah? Sonic, however, is a whole different story. From the moment you get into the game, you're flung forward at super high speeds. You don't even have time to ask what the heck's going on. You just have to hold down one button and hope to God you don't hit an unkillable enemy. Controlling Sonic is way tougher than controlling Mario, and that adds a little more appeal to the game because what's a game without a challenge? Now that we've covered everything about these two legends in gaming history, which is the better game series out of the two? The score's been recorded, and Mario takes the crown in this fight because there's just something about this all-time classic that no game will ever be able to match. We hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing gaming content. Oh, and leave a comment telling us which gaming franchises should be compared next.